Today is the International Women's Day. The International Women's Day is a global day set aside celebrating women's social, economic, political, and cultural achievements. It is also a day for a call to action to accelerate gender parity. Hi, my name is Joe Bebo. Welcome to your #1 aviation travel and tourism TV show, Mamaj TV. According to IATA's economic data of 2021, it revealed that women are still underrepresented in leadership positions in aviation. On a scale of 10 to 100%, men accounted for 94% in leadership, while women just had a fraction of 6%. So that is quite a wide gap. Now, realistically, we cannot close that gap. However, we can try to see how we can a bit close the margins. Now, in spite of the 6% representative of women in leadership in the industry, we still have very few who are outstanding, who are holding their own, who are pushing boundaries and breaking the ceilings. So we are here today to meet one of those amazing women, an icon in the travel industry, Mrs. Adenike Macaulay, who is the CEO of Wakanow. Let's meet her.
Okay, thank you for having me, first of all. As you rightly said, my name is Adenike Macaulay. I always like to start with saying I'm a wife and a mother of 3 beautiful girls. But focusing on the career part, I'm a travel professional. Let's put it that way. I've spent over 15 years now in the travel, starting with the aviation industry, but now in the travel and tourism space with Wakanow. I started my aviation and travel career with Lufthansa Group, Lufthansa German Airlines, before moving into Lufthansa Group in 2009. I actually started my career as a business analyst. I'm a trained systems engineer, actually. And interestingly, I come from, I think, a family where my dad is an aviator. As well. My dad spent many years with Nigeria Airways. He retired as a chief flight engineer for Nigeria Airways. So I've always been in the aviation space, but it was never an intentional journey for me. It was a journey that started with a search for opportunities beyond systems engineering, which is what I actually studied in school. And an opportunity presented itself in Lufthansa Group to join the company as a business analyst, which was my starting role in aviation. And from then on, I moved on to multiple roles. I think a very quick foray into leadership in a few months after joining Lufthansa Group. My first leadership position was marketing manager for West Africa. And that was really my exposure into aviation beyond Nigeria, because I had to understand, of course, the aviation and travel space and how the customers behave differently in the different regions in West Africa from a marketing perspective. I started with data, business analysis, marketing, sales products and programs, customer products and programs, and I left Lufthansa Group in 2021 as general manager, sales, Nigeria and Equatorial Guinea. So my journey has been, I think a lot of the time I've spent has been in multiple roles, but mostly in Lufthansa Group. And in the last 3 years, I joined Wakanow as Chief Commercial Officer and now CEO for Wakanow Nigeria, which is the largest travel company in Nigeria, and I would say in West Africa as well, as we're expanding very rapidly across West Africa and even internationally, as we now have operations in the UK and in the UAE as well, and expanding to other regions across the world. So I think putting it very, very short, my career started really looking for opportunities to do something different in a different sector that I was not previously exposed to. And I've had the privilege of exploring multiple roles that gave me deep insights into the different aspects of aviation, from the business aspect to the marketing aspect to the sales aspect, commercial product, which has made me grounded to now lead a travel business as CEO. Honestly, a typical day, I would not say there is a typical day in Wakanow, because every day presents a new challenge, and a new opportunity, as I like to see challenges. So every day is often different. Yes, you're right to say the role is demanding in a fast-growing business such as Wakanow. There's always something new to explore, a new challenge to deal with, a new opportunity to leverage. However, my approach to leadership is never a one-man show, and this is why I always ensure that I surround myself with a very competent and driven team. My leadership team, across all cadres, across all levels, to ensure that everyone understands the vision at every point. Everyone understands the short-term vision, mid-term, long-term vision, and most importantly, what their roles and what their individual responsibilities are in contributing towards that collective goal that we all are privy to. So for me, one thing that helps me, I would say, juggle all of the responsibilities and keeps me grounded is ensuring that there is constant communication, top down, bottom up, lateral, across the teams, to ensure that we are all on the same page, with a clear understanding of what we want to achieve at every point in time. And not only that, but even as we go along, as the market evolves, often, I mean, we are in a travel space that is very dynamic. So often you start with a certain goal, and you start executing your plans towards that goal, and the market dynamics shift, which would mean that you also have to somewhat adjust your approach that you've previously agreed with your team, which is where constant communication comes in. A vision is clearly crafted and communicated, but as you go along, even in execution day to day, those meetings, those touch bases, those leveraging data to understand how what you have done is actually impacting or giving the results that you want, and then making the changes where you need to. So for me, what keeps me grounded is surrounding myself with a competent team and ensuring that there is always that constant communication from me to them and from them to me as well, because that is what will then inform how this vision actually evolves and how the strategic moves that we need to make should evolve as the market dynamics also evolve. Sustaining factor, I always like to say the people. Yeah, but again, giving those people the tools that they need to work with, the data that they need to work with. And one thing that we do well here is leveraging our understanding of data, and our understanding of how customers' behaviors are evolving, and ensuring that we innovate in our pathway to servicing as the customers' needs and the unique behaviors of our traveling public in Nigeria and by extension Africa, because it's really unique. Wakanow being a travel technology company, so not just the travel agency, but a travel technology company, means that we leverage technology that we do build in-house. Most of our tech is proprietary. We leverage that technology to innovate and give the customers products that fit their evolving travel needs. Pay small solution is one of that. It comes from an understanding of the fact that cost of travel from Nigeria, particularly international travel, is increasingly expensive as the exchange rate also is increasing day by day. Some things that we've done in the last, I would say, few months, since average ticket price has been climbing through the roof, was to ensure that we reduce the down payments that our customers have to pay, so they come out of pocket with less. Prior to last year, 25% was the down payment that customers had to make. Now it's down to 10%, to ensure that that ticket that you were buying before at 400,000, and then you had to pay 100K as down payment, that now costs 1 million, you're having to pay still the same 100K. So for us, it's an understanding of data, understanding of how our customers also like to relate with us. We know that our customers sometimes like to speak multiple languages. Our call center can take calls in English, Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Pidgin English as well as French. We understand that our customers, like, they enjoy the flexibility that technology gives them, which is being able to book on our website, book on our app, but we know that the African customer still places a lot of importance on that relational aspect, on having somebody at the other end to speak to should you have a problem, or even just a trust issue of knowing that this is the person I'm giving my money to. That is what informed us being a hybrid travel agency, having our website, our mobile app, and the digital channels that our customers can book, but still having today 40 and growing physical travel centers that our customers can walk into. So for us, the business evolves as the customer's needs evolve, and we're able to leverage technology that we build to ensure that we meet those needs the best way we can. And on top of that, of course, we have a dedicated group of staff and employees, the Waka tribe. I always say that they are a secret sauce. Even if you build the same technology, you adopt the same business model, you cannot replicate our people. And I would say the passion that our people have for ensuring that our customers are served excellently. At Wakanow, we say customer focus is number one, is our number one priority. For me, our people are also our secret sauce. So a combination of things. There's not one silver bullet. It's a combination of things that has sustained us till date and maintaining us as a growing entity. Lowest moment. That's an interesting question. I don't know if I'll call it, I would say lowest moments, because for me, I somewhat like challenges. Yeah, for some reason, I do my best work when I'm the most challenged. So for me, all my seemingly lowest moments have somewhat turned into moments from where I leaped, and I would give you one. I think it was when I was pregnant for my first child. You know the way it is. You're utterly confused, an experience that you have never really had before, and my performance at that point, then I think I was marketing manager in Lufthansa. That was my first leadership role, actually, and I realized that I was not able to balance the hormones with the responsibilities on my job. And my appraisal that year, I think it was just before I was going on maternity leave. Imagine someone 8 months pregnant, and then my appraisal was not great. It was, I think then my boss literally asked me if I wanted to go back to my previous role. He literally told me I was not able to do the job. And I took that in, and I went on maternity leave. I was away for, I think 4 months in total. And I used that time to reflect on how I wanted to move on in my career, being that I just went on leave after a very bad appraisal that questioned my competence and my ability to do my job. So that was a point for me. For me, that was an inflection point in my career, which is why I say I often see challenges as a mountain to be crossed, as a hurdle to be crossed. And once you cross the hurdle, then the rest of it becomes easy. I then became very intentional when I resumed from maternity leave to ensure that that same feedback that I got and the same boss that gave me that feedback would pretty much take it back. I was intentional about ensuring also that my team then knew that this was the position that I was in, and it was important that as a team we delivered excellent work that would never be questioned. And the attention to detail that I have today, I think it stemmed really from that experience of me not wanting to be questioned, me not wanting my competence to be questioned. And I think it didn't take about 6 months after I came back from maternity leave for me to get my next promotion. So I went from being questioned, my competence being questioned, to the same person, recommending me for promotion. So for me, low points in your career, it's always a moment to sit and reflect and decide on how you want to take on that challenge. Otherwise the challenge would actually swallow you. So it's your approach to life, and for me, that's how I see challenges. I'm actually excited when I see a hurdle, because for me it's something to break through, and it's for me to do my best work to show that this hurdle is there to be crossed. So that's one of it. I can say a bit more, but yeah, I'd leave it at that. Ooh, most memorable moment. Then there are many. Honestly, there are so many. But I mean, from a career perspective, I would say when I was appointed general manager for Lufthansa Group in Nigeria, and for me it was a memorable moment because I was the first woman, the first Black person, the first Nigerian, the first African in that role. And it was memorable for me because this came from an evolution, going back to the story I just told you, in the same company where my competence was being questioned by the same person that was now standing in front of a panel to say this is the person that can do the job, this is the first Nigerian, this is the first woman that can do the job. So for me, it was a full 360 moment when that announcement went out, and yeah, the whole media was agog that a Nigerian was appointed in this role for the first time. That's, I mean, it's one of many, but for me that was a significant moment, not just for me but for women, because again, anytime for me, anytime a woman attains a position that has never been occupied by someone of that gender, by a female, it's always a point to celebrate and to amplify that, look, there are no barriers that cannot really be broken. And for me, that was the first barrier that I was breaking, and yeah, it was one of the many memorable moments in my career. I think what drives me, I mean, I just spoke about a few challenges, but particularly as a woman, having multiple hats, as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, having multiple hats to juggle is always a challenge, you know, juggling your professional hat, your personal hat, and many other hats that you would have is always a challenge. What personally motivates me is, I would say, is independence. I'm one that likes to, I would say, to be in control of my life, and for you to be in the driver's seat of your life, you have to find that intrinsic motivation that makes you do things that will deliver the resources that you want, that will deliver that independence for you. As a woman, your power lies in your independence. Your voice lies really in your independence, and it can only come from you. So for me, my driving force is really wanting to be in control, you know, of my life, wanting to not have any limit. But it really comes from within. It comes from also me being a mother of 3 girls, showing them that there is no limit to what you can really achieve as a female, as a woman. There are really no limits, there's no barriers. So those are additional motivating factors for me. But for me, motivation comes intrinsically because I'm a super independent person, and I like to be in control of my life. So for me to be in the driver's seat, I have to do the things that will put me and continually put me in that driver's seat. So yeah, it comes from within, and it comes from also having 3 girls that I have to show that mom is doing it, you can do even more. Sometimes, you know, this conversation around balance, sometimes it doesn't balance, and that's the reality. Sometimes there is absolutely no balance. It tilts, you know, both ways. Sometimes it tilts very, very heavily on the work side, and sometimes, and how I balance it is ensuring that I'm intentional about also tilting it to the home side, because your responsibilities at work can be heavy enough to occupy your life if you're not intentional about tilting it the other way. Technology helps, of course, now that you can do video calls, unlike back in the days with my dad. Like I said, my dad was in aviation. Many times I didn't see my dad for days, weeks on ending, because he would fly, come in at night. Sometimes he's on duty, the next day I'm in school. Then he did not have the luxury of doing video calls and all that we have now, you know. But again, being intentional about tilting that balance when it's overly tilted to one side, because sometimes, of course, on the home front as well, you can have increasing responsibilities that would somewhat tilt it away from work. But finding those times where you can balance things out and be intentional about tilting it in whatever direction that you see is being skewed to is really my approach. There's never a time where it is 100% balanced. Sometimes you have more requirements at work, sometimes at home, but finding, the opportunities to spend time with family. I always take annual vacations with my family, where I try to disconnect really from work as much as is possible, keep an eye on things, but ensuring that we also have that time for family. And of course, when it's time for work, it's time for work. So there's no silver bullet to this balance of the things. Sometimes it will tilt this way, sometimes it will tilt that way, but also having support around you, because it takes a village, as they say, both on the work front and in the home front and in every other front that everybody has. It always takes a village. So leaning and pulling on the support when you need to is super important, and that's what I do. I surround myself the same way in my career and on the business side of things. I ensure that I have a super driven and competent and motivated team. Is the same way on the home front. I ensure that I have a super committed set of people that also support me there. So yeah, pulling on my village, but ensuring that we tilt it both ways as it skews. Inspire inclusion. So of course we all know what inclusion is: creating the gender diversity and balance that we want to see in all fronts and at all levels, ensuring that women are duly represented and have a voice, have a seat at the table. But when you put inspire in front of that, it means that you're trying to instill the motivation and the willingness and the desire to do something. That's what inspiration is. It's not influencing, it's some sort of more like positive influencing, making people want to do something by positive modeling. So when you say inspire inclusion, for me, it is showing the successes that have come from societies, businesses, platforms that have already to an extent achieved some level of diversity, showing the benefits of inclusion. That's how you begin to inspire something. If you're trying to get someone to do something, you have to get them to want to do it. You have to show that it is good. You have to show the benefits of actually doing that thing. So platforms such as what you're doing now, showcasing people that or businesses or organizations that have some level of diversity that can be modeled to show that, look, these guys have done it. These are the results. These are the benefits of having, I would say, a balanced perspective. Because any organization that actually has diversity, that actually has real focus on diversity, and not just for face value, because there's also that token diversity card that some organizations play, but organizations that focus on ensuring that there is a diverse representation across board, across all levels, and that are really excelling in their various industries need to be showcased. Because once you highlight the benefits and the successes of those that have modeled what we are trying to inspire, then it becomes easy. Showcasing women, showcasing, and not just focusing on really the women and what they have done, but showcasing the organization in the perspective of how they have grown and how they have evolved since they have achieved some level of diversification when it comes to gender, since that is the focus in this case, is a way to start to inspire inclusion. But also, I would say we as women also have a part to play, because it becomes easy to achieve diversity when you have more women that are deserving of, of roles in whatever levels that we're looking at. So ensuring that once you're somewhere, once you have a level of influence, you open the door, empower more women, I always say pull the ladder a little lower for the next woman for you to coming after you to actually climb, to show that, look, women are doing it. Women can do it, but you need more competent women that will be deserving of it. For me, I always like to first of all be deserving as a person, and then me being a woman is the icing on the cake, because being a woman gives you a unique perspective, even when it comes to business. And that's what I think there's a lot of studies that have been done with boards, how boards function when there is diversity versus when there isn't, and to see how effective boards are when there is that gender balance achieved. So modeling such things, but also ensuring that we women invest in ourselves. We support women to ensure that there are more deserving women in the pool that would contribute towards this diversity and this representation that we're all looking for. So showcasing the successes that have come from inclusion would start to inspire others to actually want to get what the others are getting by doing what they have done, which is ensuring that there's diversity across board. I see myself chilling on a yacht somewhere. Literally, maybe retired. I know I look a lot younger than I actually am, but in 5 years I'll be 45. So I see myself maybe not working as hard as I am now, but I see myself really what I would like to do in 5 years would be to contribute towards policy making in Nigeria when it comes to travel and tourism, because we have a lot of opportunity that I believe that we can harness. Most of all, the IATA projections shows Africa as the region where you expect the fastest growth in the next 5 to 10 years. But for Nigeria to also, I would say, leverage and benefit from this growth. Of course, Nigeria is one of the biggest travel markets in Africa, but we also have to ensure that the government benefits more significantly and positions more significantly to participate and to leverage these growths that we expect to see in the travel sector. So really in the next 5 years, I probably would see myself in the public space contributing towards policy development in aviation. I'd say invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. You have to be intentional about investing in yourself. You have to be intentional about what it is that you want to achieve. Looking at people, not just women, anybody that has walked the path that you believe you want to walk. As a woman, it probably is easier for you to look at a woman because you experience some of the same challenges on that journey. But even beyond that, people that have walked the path that you want to walk, what did they have to do? What competence do they have? What skills do they have? Does your profile actually meet the profile of people that are in positions that you want to attain? If it does not, what is that gap? Do a gap analysis and start to work intentionally on filling those gaps. I'll tell you one thing. Before I was appointed general manager sales for Lufthansa, I had known that that position was going to be vacant, I think a year or 9 months before. And exactly what I'm saying is what I did. I went and I scoped counterparts in the same role, and I saw that, okay, these are the qualifications, this is what you need. And I intentionally prepared myself. Intentionally. As at that time I didn't have my MBA, I went and enrolled for my MBA because I know I needed a broad spectrum of understanding. But again, there's sometimes that you have the experience but you don't have the paper qualifications, and that's what certifications, that's what degrees actually do for you. So I would say prepare yourself, invest in yourself, put yourself out for opportunities that seem bigger than you. Because one thing I would say is you look at people in setting aspirational roles and think they know it all. We are all figuring it out. Every single person, nobody is the custodian of ultimate knowledge. Everybody is figuring it out. So you have to believe in your ability to figure it out, but also invest in yourself so that should you get the opportunity, you are able to deliver once you get there. So invest in yourself. Put yourself out there for roles that seem bigger than you. Put yourself out there for opportunities that seem bigger than you, because you will grow into it. Everybody is doing that. And then own your voice. I would say as a woman, the unique view that you bring to the table is because you are a woman. So never try to do things like a man, because you will fail. Do things, own your voice as a woman. That is the unique perspective that you bring to the table, and you would see the world will start opening up to you when you first of all believe in yourself. So that's really it. Believe in yourself, invest in yourself, and then go for it. Go for those opportunities that seem bigger than you, because as a woman, we're naturally built to stretch. I always say it, biologically you're naturally built to stretch. So put yourself out for positions and for opportunities that would stretch you, and you would surprise yourself. And then surround yourself with also peers, sponsors, mentors that can guide you along the journey as you go. But first, believe in yourself. As a woman, you can do it. Okay, so at Wakanow we have a CSR project. It's tagged Waka Cares, and we focus on two main pillars: economic empowerment, focusing on youth and also women. Last year we trained over 1,000 youth and women on empowering them to build value in the travel space, pretty much on how to start your own travel business. We've done this in partnership with different state parastatals and also NGOs, women organizations, without mentioning their names, but it's something that we started at the latter part of last year, and we will continue through this year to ensure that women, and particularly also youth, understand the pathways to creating value for themselves in the travel space, being their own boss. We call it be your own boss. We have an affiliate program in Wakanow that ensures that, or that allows our B2B partners or anyone really to leverage the inventory that we actually have with our different suppliers in servicing their own clients. And how to start a business leveraging this affiliate program is what we have trained last year over 1,000 women on, and we will continue this year. I believe we have a target to train over 5,000 youth and women on building their empire in the travel space. We're passionate about developing and empowering youth and women in the travel space and even beyond the travel space. But travel is what we know, travel is what we do best, and that is, I would say, that is the gold that we can hand over to the women that are within our network and even beyond our network and associate with us. So Waka Cares, it's called Waka Cares. So watch out for the next Waka Cares program, really targeting women and youth. So it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me, Mama J. Happy International Women's Day to every single woman out there. The theme for this year is Inspire Inclusion. And we hope that as we go along, as there is more attention to engendering diversity across all levels, particularly in the workspace, we hope and we trust that there would be more deserving women to fill these roles as the world opens up to us. Happy International Women's Day, and I wish everyone the best. Hi, my name is Adenike Macaulay, CEO Wakanow Nigeria. Keep watching Mamaj Aviation TV.
Wow, that was a beautiful and exclusive interview with Mrs. Adenike Macaulay, the CEO of Wakanow. Quite revealing. I hope you found the interview session inspiring. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channels and all our social media platforms at Mamaj Aviation TV and Mamaj Aviation blog. And for all women out there, here's wishing you a happy International Women's Day. Thank you for watching. See you again soon. Bye.